Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to FPL Jedi Show. This is the Gameweek 38 pod, the season finale. My name is Hafiz, and I am joined by my co-host Azmin. How are you? It's been a while, bro.
Yeah, it's been a while, and I was just basking in happiness that I managed to get into the 1 million group, only to get myself kicked out of it again after my captain failed. And yeah, so yeah, pretty much about the captaincy failing. So and my transfer being useless as well. So now I got to figure out what I want to do to see whether there's a chance of me getting back into that uh 1 million group, which has to be my final hope for me for this season.
Great stuff. I think this will be the last stream for season 25-26 for us, especially as been a long one. But we still have one more week to fix our final rank, whether it will be a red one or a green one. And we have different motivation for this final week, man. So I think one last chance.
Yeah, so it's yeah, I guess like uh, Arsenal City, it's just a case of celebrating and having fun. Uh, well, whereas for us, it's in a way it is a bit for us, but we just want to finish as at least end the season in the last week. We're finishing on a good note. So that's the plan. And so, but we need to be careful and put our emotions in check, because it's very easy to get emotional and just I'm gonna do this. It's last week. But we do need to temper ourselves and just be ready that day. Even though you could argue that those teams are on the beach, but they will still play. And they will still put up a fight. So we need to decide which teams are in for it, and whether the motivations are there. Even like Burnley versus Wolves. Currently the motive, even they have a motivation, which is because they are next to each other on top at the table, and if Wolves win, they go above Burnley, and that's motivation enough, to not finish at the bottom of the table. So on and of course they're practicing to meet each other again in the in the championship again. So let's we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I think we underestimate thinking in terms of only certain teams have motivations, but I think that there is enough motivations to go around. Just how much motivation is there? So that's what we need to figure out when deciding our players.
Okay, great stuff. As we already mentioned about motivations, we shall see on that in more depth. But I think I would like to take this opportunity, man. As you
Yeah.
mentioned, congratulations to Arsenal. They are the league champion for season 25-26. They are 22 years waiting. It's over. So well done to them because City dropped points in the midweek against Bournemouth, despite they are winning the FA Cup final against Chelsea. So at least Pep won two trophy, and we can safely say here the two big news before we coming to the stream is Guardiola already mentioned that he's going to leave at the end of season for Man City. Really a great era for Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. And at the same time, Michael Carrick has been confirmed as a permanent head coach for Manchester United. So I think that's what the latest news around in terms of football. So, man, Arsenal, the best team this season, right?
Yep. Definitely. Arsenal finally found a way, and I think one of the biggest things that Arteta got right this season was to have decent backup. Yeah. So he brought in players that knew that they were gonna be second fiddle to the players that are already there. Players like Madueke, for example, and players there was a guy brought in by Brentford. I can't remember his name.
No guy.
Uh, Sorry? Nogard, for example, yeah. So they know, they brought in knowing that they are not going to be the main players, but they accept that and are ready to step in when needed. So that I feel is something that Arteta got right, and because of that, he also learned how to not overplay players, and Saka being a case in point. He didn't rush him back from injury in this last time around. Really took it slow to make sure he'll be there to contribute, and he was there. We were scoring some goals that were important, and to help Arsenal drag them through the finishing line. So he did that well. So he learned that something. I think a lot of Arsenal fans would think, is he not going to learn that, or is he just going to play Saka until he drags him down into the grave or something? So well, credit to Arsenal and Arteta in general, but also credit to Arsenal's owners for being the patient type. Okay, hint Chelsea. So because he was brought in 2019, I think it was.
So 6 years back. 6 years back.
Yeah, so then he won the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, cup lah. But there was enough in it, and then the patient. We know in the past few seasons when he kept finishing second, the unhappiness, people get dissatisfied, calling Arteta to be fired, but they persisted, knowing don't get too ruled by fan emotion, become second, because second place is actually it's good, even though they didn't win, because of course you're frustrated that you didn't win, but is that a reason to sack and thinking that Arteta's taking far as they can go? No, I never believed that was the case. I've always been of the belief that the new managers should be given more time, and still coming back to the days of Alex Ferguson, Wenger, they didn't win so many things at the start either, but persist. Of course, in this era, there's people are a lot more impatient, especially with the bigger clubs. So it's good to see, because I'm a Liverpool fan, and my Liverpool owners have been quite patient with regards to managerial. They don't easily fire, just after a string of bad results kind of thing. There's patience there, and it's happy to see that Arsenal win that. I'm actually quite happy for Arsenal to win.
Right. Great, Arsenal, and the Arsenal fan would definitely jubilant after this waiting, and they won, and could mean this could be their era, because Pep leaving, so and then after that Arsenal already win their first championship in a long time. Probably this could be their time, and then build from this success of all the league champion. And probably they could end the season in a better notes if they win the Champions League. They are in the Champions League final, don't forget about that. So they have another important match to end the season on the high. Okay, we move on. I think in terms of FPL Gameweek 38, we will dive in terms of the results from last game week, and then after that look at which team still have motivation, which team on the patient. After that, we decide which team that we should focus the players and so on. And then after that, we look at the projected goals and clean sheet. And then after that, we look at our team selection. As you can see, the poster boy there, Mr. Jared Bowen. A bit spoiler, he is the most transferred in so far for Game Week 38. And that could be the played narrative if you're thinking what's the best for this game week. Let's have jump into the Game Week 37 results for us, Min. The average point was 53 points. I scored 68 points. For yourself, slightly lower from the average with 50 points because we captured a different player. For sure, even though we had similar kind of like players in our team, I go through my team first. I could easily say Enzo Fernandez is the player that saved my week. And on top of Saka captaincy, because I think that's what made up my team. Okay, so Saka 10 points, so that's why I got that 20 points. Enzo Fernandez with the goal and assist, 13 points there. Chucky blank, he bench, right, I suppose, and got 1 point. Bruno Fernandes being Fernandes, he produced and equal that assist record, 20 assists in the season. He got that 9 points there. Other than that, I just want to rant out in terms of frustration at the back line, especially for Brighton players. I had played Verbruggen and Van Hag at Leeds United and versus Brighton. almost could end up near, but Van had pass back ball, and suddenly GCL got that chance and scored the goal. So you can imagine from getting a clean sheet, 6 points each player for Bergen and Van had, and end up only 4 points. So 8 points lost there. So that is what it is. O'Reilly got only 2 points because City drew 1-1 against Bournemouth. And my forward lineup, same for you, man. I brought in Thiago for this game week against Crystal Palace. The match ended up 2-2, but Thiago doesn't get any returns, so that's why 2. On hindsight, probably that could be a bad thing to do, getting him in. Looking at this fixture this week against Liverpool, but that's always in my mind. João Pedro missed out, so then 0 point, so probably Thiago is bad. But if they say I hold my João Pedro, Tavernier will come in with 2 points, so that can easily equals the points, so nothing gained there. But I will take the 68 points. That green arrow moved me to 71k from 81k, something like that, from last week. And I think the realistic target for me this game with 38 is to be in the top 50k, because the gap is around 13 points if I want to move, 12 points if I want to move into 50k. Still something to do. 12 points is not something that easily you can gather. You need to target the right players. After that, Arsenal and City wrap up in terms of the league title. So probably there will be a chaos lineup for those team. We will discuss more in depth, but that is my team. 68 points. How about yours, man? You're on mute.
I had Keller, of course, 2 points as well. So I had Senesi, and I benched Guehi for that. And just like, in a way, just like your Brighton duo, Senesi was headed for a brilliant score, with City failing, Bournemouth doing their best to shut out, only for Haaland to score like 15 minutes. So he dropped, but of course he didn't get any baps, but he got DEFCON there. So still okay to that for that decision. Unfortunately, I brought in Lewis Potter, who totally destroyed me. So that's out. Because I thought with Crystal Palace again. Okay, Crystal Palace, you got to give credit because everyone's pretty much writing them off and not much in terms of the attack. But nope, they're scoring. Sarr just like, oh, what? Sarr's just currently like, what, Conference League? Yeah, I'll just go and have some fun, And in a way, it's good. He's keeping up his momentum, getting ready for the Conference League, but at the same time avoiding injury. So well done to Crystal Palace. Not so good for me lah, but who cares? Oh well, what to do. So Turkey again got benched, and I don't know, being benched in the FA Cup final and also benched in the crucial game. What happened between Turkey and Pep that suddenly he's fallen out of favor? Because it's clearly he has fallen out of favor in a way, because FA Cup he didn't start, only came in the bench, and then in a very crucial match to keep the contest going, he didn't play either. So I don't know what's going on there. But as you say, it's a risk there. So Saka, who should have been the captain, I did the captain, too bad. Then we had the same lineup. Then on the bench, of course, I didn't have your Dalo, Kesakitan Dalo at the bench there. But because I had Dubravka, who doesn't even start anymore under Michael Jackson, doesn't like his moves apparently. So Michael Jackson, the Burnley manager. Konsa, then of course Okafor is still injured, and Konsa, who isn't against Villa thrashing Liverpool, but of course not Konsa not doing much anyway. So it's a question of it wasn't a great week. I guess if I had got the captaincy right, it would have helped. I would have gone up to like 58 points or something. Yeah. So the Thiago gamble was a failure. I have to acknowledge that. Thiago's doesn't seem to be fighting hard enough to try to win that golden boot, fight off to try to at least be still in the running. So I think that's not going to happen anymore. That's the narrative I have to let go of, because it's clearly not happening. So I have to see what else can we do to what other narratives should we look at for this final week.
Yeah, thank you for pointing out, Min. Painful. I would like to say that Dalo on my bench 11 points. We did discuss offline.
Sorry.
he could easily swing because the narrative I want to put is Brighton going to all in. Leeds already safe, and because they have something to fight, but in the end, it's not good enough. Leeds United has been strong at home. Then they win 1-0. So if let's say I don't go all in because I have like 3 Brighton players, right? Verbruggen, Van Hag, Welbeck. So definitely I want to put a narrative that Brighton going to get the result with Welbeck scoring, right? But it turns out Leeds United kept the clean sheet. Dalot got that 3 bonus point, so 11 points to save on somewhere there. So well done whoever that have Dalot and DCL as their starting lineup, right? So I think DCL scored 7 or 8 points. So well done to whoever that, and probably that could be the reason. If I went, I think back to that Gameweek 32 wildcard team, I decided to went well back over DCL because I want to take advantage of that Burnley game, if I'm right. Gameweek 32 back. So that's why. But it is not meant to be. And turns out, I think I need to admit now, DCL is the right choice when you wildcard 32. So well done.
Yeah, I just can't with this year. Well done to those, but looking back, I just couldn't see my. But I got to say credit to Leeds. Yeah, they even though they have nothing to fight for, but they have pride. They're happy with what they did, and they decided to play spoiler for the European match and make it tougher for Brighton, who I think everyone expected Brighton was going to pull the way through and be one of the front runners. So not anymore. So they're still in the running, of course, but it wasn't as secure as a lot of people thought it was going to be. But yeah, well done, Leeds.
All right, I want to give shout out to Rakan FPL was saying, and also Nama 123 go. Hi guys, hi. He is the running at the number 1 spot right now in our FPL Jedi League. So thank you for joining, and hopefully probably you could reveal your possibly what your transfer going to be this week, because we are going to discuss your team at the end of this stream in terms of our FPL Jedi League. Thank you for joining our stream. Okay, let's go to the next topic that we want to discuss is who has the motivation, right? So on your left side is actually the Premier League tables current league position right now. We already know about Arsenal and Man City story. Wrap up already in terms of league title. Arsenal is the champion for 25-26 season, and City will end up with the second spot, because nobody gonna rival those first and second spot. United already locked for third, and they're in a Champions League spot. Aston Villa won against Liverpool last week, man. They are on 4th spot right now. They are in the Champions League. And I think I can safely say here, after last game, the 37 result, Liverpool are in the running to finish there, and they are expected to finish there in the Champions League spot, whether 4th or 5th, because their goal difference over Bournemouth, I think Bournemouth is the next team that could potentially be into that top 5 spot if they win that game. And Liverpool kind of like lost against Brentford this week. The feature on the right side, you can get it. But 6 goal difference, I think that will be a big one. I mathematically, it's not possible, right? So I think Liverpool should be safely. So, but it's just whether they will finish in the 5th or 4th spot. We'll talk about that narrative later, because that could make a difference in terms of Champions League, additional Champions League spot. If you finish at 6th place,
just a quick note on as a Liverpool fan, I got to give thanks to Bournemouth, for Manchester City for not letting Bournemouth win right at the end, because if Bournemouth had won that City match, that's suddenly they're looking at the possibility of Liverpool, not being able to qualify in the Champions League. So yeah, I got to just mention that. So thankful.
All right. Then I will touch on the European places, because that is up for grab for sure at 6th place, 7th place, and 8th place. because with this current situation that 6 and 7 will finish placing will go to Europa League, and the 7 and 8th place will go to Conference League. So you can see on the table, Bournemouth, Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford, and I can say also Sunderland has outside chance to finish in the European spot, because Sunderland are facing Chelsea in the last game week. So their motivation for both teams to play and try to lock that European spot. And last but not least, the rest I could easily say on the beach, but last but not least, the relegation battle. The last spot who will go down is between Spurs and West Ham. Spurs have 2 points advantage right now, but they need to at least get the point this game week to safely say that they survive. Spurs versus Everton, and West Ham will all in this week. They just need to focus and win this game against Leeds, and hopefully Spurs lost against Everton. I think that's the story in terms of motivation. We can talk more on the fixture for game week 38, but in terms of motivation, that could be the teams that we should focus on.
It is, and Everton, especially with Everton, also mentioning that who's that guy? Moyes saying that he would love to help West Ham survive. So it's so the Everton Spurs match takes on a whole different meaning. I mean, I'm sure he can't say that if Everton was the team that is being at risk. So you could argue there's a bit of unethical about it, but I guess we can let it go. But it does put that Spurs Everton game into focus, obviously, even more. And then you have Richarlison, who used to be a Everton player as well. So there's a lot of drama going on. So let's see how it all pops up later on.
Okay, so we look at the fixture after we discuss on the motivation. Brighton versus United, for sure Brighton gonna play their strong team against United. They want to lock that European spot and try to be in that Europa League. Burnley was nothing to play, but like I mentioned, this could easily be an open game and try to more in terms of pride. Both teams are going down anyway. Palace Conference League in their mind right now, and I think I read out in terms of quotes from Glasner in terms of their presser, he will like rotate players playing 45 minutes. So they're potential rotation there. Nobody going to play or getting in Crystal Palace assets, but you can argue that could also be case for Arsenal. They have nothing to play. Palace will give their guard of honor in terms of Arsenal winning that league title. Could Arsenal play their second fiddle and focus on the Champions League final? Possibly. Okay. Fulham Newcastle on the beach, anything can happen in this game. If you can predict, I think people are talking the committee right now is Ursula from Newcastle. He has been on form right now. Liverpool Brentford both have motivation. Brentford trying to finish in the European competition. Liverpool trying to confirm that Champions League spot, and this game could be this will be the last game for Egyptian Kim Mo Salah. Will he play? Slot cannot confirm whether he's gonna start for this game week. City Villa, nothing to play. Villa on the beach for sure. They already win the European League title. Nothing much to play with here, but City want to give a good send off for Pep Guardiola, so probably they will play a strong team. Forest Bournemouth has something to play. Forest at home, they want to feel a strong side the last game week for in front of their own crowd. Spurs have something to play against Everton. Will also, Derek Moyes mentioned, they want to try to save West Ham, probably filled up a strong side. Sunderland, Chelsea, both have something to play. West Ham, they will go all in. Leeds could be on the pitch. So, next fixture for game week 38.
Yeah, so Leeds aren't really on the beach lah. I guess you could say, because theoretically they should have been on the beach last week, but they managed to spoil Brighton, who could have been at 56, tying with Bournemouth, which have, if they had so it's great. So now, so they've spoiled Europe. Now they want to see if they want to affect the relegation, and you got to give credit, because in terms of the defense, they really shot up really well. So that West Ham leads, obviously West Ham have a lot of motivation to stay up, no doubt. But they cannot, all West Ham can do is win and hope that Spurs lose against
Yes.
Everton. So that's the thing. And we mentioned just now about David Moyes, and the reality is Spurs team isn't great. The one thing going Spurs have going for them is that they're playing at home. And if Spurs, but if Spurs, actually technically speaking, all Spurs need to do is draw.
Yep.
Yeah. So West Ham have to win and hope Spurs lose. So it's really it's really frustrating being a West Ham fan. So and then they get relegated and have to play against Millwall at some point. That's something else. But anyway, but in terms of motivation, looking at that Sunderland, Chelsea, and Newcastle, Fulham. You just now we mentioned about Fulham, Newcastle on the beach, but when you look at Newcastle and Sunderland, one of the fiercest rivalries, the fact that Sunderland is currently above Newcastle is very frustrating, especially to Newcastle fans. There will be some incentive, but of course, because Newcastle is playing away. Because if Newcastle was playing at home, I'd back them to the hill. But because they're playing away, but they will still want to try to win against Fulham and hope that Sunderland lose against Chelsea. But as you say, Sunderland are also marginally in the hunt for Europe as well. They play against a Chelsea. I don't know where Chelsea's head is. So they lost in the FA Cup final, managed, but then, as expected, they won against the boogie team Spurs. Dodgy decisions notwithstanding, but yeah, Chelsea still fetching the win there. So who knows how this one will play out?
Yep.
But it makes it hard to pick up players, and I mean, I've seen a couple of my fellow content creators, mention how Palmer is someone that really, really should consider. And my only question is why. It's you're playing against Sunderland, who at home they are much more stronger, and Chelsea
Yep.
have to deceive. And Palmer, even the win, Palmer really didn't, contribute in terms of goals and points. Liverpool Brentford is another interesting one. Even if Liverpool lose and they still make it, but Brentford are still chasing. And even though Thiago didn't score last week, but they had a never say die attitude, and they still managed to find
Yeah.
So they just kept going, and even towards the end, they clearly still tried to go for the win. Yeah, so which makes me happy as having Thiago. I'll still, even though he's been blanking, but I'll still happy to have him. The Brighton Manchester United one, obviously you can't. We will play Verbruggen and Rahak, at the same time, you have Bruno Fernandes on the other side. I think a lot of people are in this boat, unless they get put your Leeds goalkeeper instead there. Obviously, Brighton are playing at home, but remember, Leeds were supposedly on the beach last week, and they still win. They still managed.
I think West Ham really have great motivation. They will go and be aggressive, and they will need to get a win. They will do anything, man.
Which is why I think you should go for the Leeds keeper instead. That's going to be a lot of shots, a lot of saves, because they're just going to fly out from distance. So it's so easy pickings, and I wouldn't be surprised if they still kept a clean sheet. So that's I just throw that out for you. Because it's just Fernandes chasing for that assist record. It's not. Brighton are relatively strong defensively and at home, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of shots for Manchester United. Anyway, so yeah, that's something. I just one more thing I want to mention: Burnley Wolves. I like that fixture very much, and I'm really looking at Burnley players because Wolves both are relegated, but Wolves have that motivation to finish above Burnley as they both drop down into their championship, and they will face each other again. It's a warm-up session, but I'm sure, at the end of the day, for the record books, if possible, Wolves won't want to be the one at the bottom of the table because it'll forever become mentioned. It'd be nice to get that out of the system. So I like Burnley for this. Because at the end of the day, even though Wolves have
potentially that Burnley Wolves could be a high scoring game. You foresee that?
Because I just think Burnley, even though Wolves have more motivation, but Burnley have motivation to not just finish about Wolves. But Burnley have better firepower compared to Wolves. Yeah, they have better goals.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, probably we just mentioned in terms of fixture, where is the goals are coming? Because traditionally, Gameweek 38 will produce high scoring games, so we want to predict where the matches are in. You did mention about Burnley Wolves. Where are the places that we can, because Burnley Wolves playing each other. Kalau if let's say someone playing Burnley, someone playing Wolves, right? Easier, right? Target those other teams. So West Ham this will be KG. Same goes for Spurs Everton, and that's my feeling. Despite they want to go all in, right? But yeah.
Give me a moment and I'll channel it for you. Where the most goals are coming from. Give me one.
Okay. Probably we can discuss that in terms of the protection.
The force tells me that the goals is going to come from the Manchester City Villa match. That is where you're going to have a lot of that's going to be a goal fest. And obviously Aston Villa have nothing to play for, and technically City doesn't have anything to play for either. But I do feel that the end of a Pep era, what's it, 10 years was it? Yeah, it's incredible era where they won lots of goals, and I think there's a celebration. Sure, there's disappointment in terms of the final league. They catch up, but let's face it. At one point, they weren't even really in the running. They're dropping off. It's just that they slowly got closer and closer. So you got to give credit to Pep, and I don't think City fans are going to be too upset at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, they still won 2 cups. So I think it's going to be a lot of goodwill. And I think we're gonna see a nice festival. I'm definitely gonna be tuning into that one rather than the Liverpool-Brentford match, which will make me feel like I want to strangle some.
Can you predict the City lineup? I think that's another question.
That is the challenge. Okay, so I'm gonna go on record and saying players I expect to start. Haaland, I expect to start. Foden, I expect to start. Bernardo Silva, I expect to start.
Yeah, because he's leaving anyway, right?
Rodri, if he's fit, he'll start. Yeah, because I think he'll still need to get some minutes in as he prepares for the World Cup. He is selected for the World Cup. The back line is, I don't have him, but I am worried about O'Reilly. Yeah, obviously he became a lot bigger force in the second half of the season, but he can easily be benched. So that is a risk. Guehi could be also. Guehi he came in during the summer. There are during the winter. Yeah, during the winter break. So there are able centre backs to replace. There's John Stones who now got selected for the World Cup. He might get some minutes there at centre back as well. But the midfield is a minefield, especially for whether you have Semenyo or Chelsea. It's gonna be hard. So if you guys decide to sell one of them to find some more secure player, I don't blame you, because you want that certainty. Yeah. So that's where the goals are coming from.
Man, let's take a look at the transfer in so far. So probably we can just see what's the bandwagon, and then we can talk about that. Yes, top 10 transfer in so far. I snapshot this before we came in to the stream. Midfielders and forwards, I don't think we should focus on defense, right? Probably less clean sheet for this last game with 38. Top midfielders in terms of transfer in. The Forest players, and the Anderson and the likes, Gibbs White, they have been, because I think Forest get some results last week. Forgot who they play. But Anderson and Gibbs are in the mix. Probably this can be why people or the managers are deciding these are the players to keep in 120k and 114k.
They
after that,
United, they lost 3-2 lah, but you know.
Yeah. So by Anderson is what it produce returns, right? Okay,
exactly. So that might be.
So Bosley at third place. This is a player that I'm also eyeing because I think if Liverpool want to get results, Bosley will be in the mix. And if Salah is not starting or playing, we know who's going to take a penalty kick. It definitely Bosley, right? So 100,000 that. Enzo Fernandez probably knee-jerk from that double return, but previously against I think Enzo did produce a goal against Liverpool. 1-1. Okay, that's Enzo produced a pointer. Then Bruno Fernandes. I'm not sure if let's say you don't have Bruno Fernandes, Janshio, you want to bring him in, but 34k. Then Cunha, Ryan, 31,000. Probably against Forest, right? And they want to need. Saka, 30,000. Doku, I'm not sure whether you want to focus that. Rogers, probably because after that double-digit haul last week, I'm not sure whether people will go there. But in terms of forwards, Bowen, like we mentioned, 184,000. Easily the most transfer in so far for this game, 38. The narrative is if West Ham going to get result against Leeds, Bowen will be in the mix. He's a 90 minutes man. He should be on penalty. Richarlison, he scored against Chelsea. Probably that triggers this transfer in 79k. But Spurs need the result. So Richarlison will be the player to depend on. DCL. Some say the boat has sailed in terms of getting the DCL points, right? But they do play the bottom three against West Ham. If Leeds going to get any result, is DCL. Cooper Jr. is someone that interesting choice. I think he's also on penalty kick. He has some motivation to play. 4.6 million player is still something if you need some money and just sacrifice and put some money in other places. 74k. Osula is a trend right now. 68k. I think FPL bangers did mention he wants to play and captain him. So that's what.
Play and captain who? Sorry?
Play and captain Osula. Get him. Osula in. Yeah. So interesting if you want to go there. Watkins, not sure whether you want to go there. I won't advise. Villa is on the beach right now. João Pedro, Matt Fallon did mention he has an outside chance. He's on training right now. Thiago, I don't think I will go there if you don't have Thiago at this juncture. Haaland and Gyökeres, I don't think they are in terms of popularity. Main top transfer in terms of midfielder forwards who caught your eyes. You're on mute.
Osula is definitely something because you're looking at play for the future. Look at it this way: this guy has supplanted two of the striker purchases for Newcastle, and who's the other guy from Bradford?
Visa.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. You got to give some credit. And obviously, how we did see, I think when he started doing it, people were questioning it and how he's gone mad. But then Osula has stepped up really well, so I got to give credit there. I would not touch Watkins if it killed me, because it's crazy. That's just too risky. Yeah, and Watkins isn't young. So he's probably gonna ask, don't need to play so much because the World Cup he has been selected.
Yeah, he has been selected. Yeah.
So and that's a factor that I think we really need to take that into account. Because if you selected for the World Cup, and you have nothing to fight for, then maybe it's not so. Then maybe it puts the starting chances here, if you at risk. We talk about Bowen. So Bowen, is
he someone that in your mind to bring in if you have the money and space?
No, because There's a narrative. Okay, so Bowen has not scored for ages. Gameweek 25 or something, or 26. He has got some assists in between. But obviously, he's important to that fight. And the narrative is that they have something to play for. He's going to fight, and a new narrative has arose. Maybe now that he hasn't been selected for the World Cup, he's going to just like my argument with Foden, who's not in here at all, by the way. They have he'll want to prove that he deserves to go. Let's look, if something happens to the World Cup, of course it's announced, but if something really does happen between now and the World Cup, then they have a chance to call out a replacement. A serious injury happens to any of the selected midfielders. So they're not. So it's not something for them to give up yet. So there's still a fight there. So Bowen definitely will want to prove himself. But the problem I have with Bowen is they are coming up with a very strong leads. Well, I can't believe I said that. But they have been really strong in the past few months. And even last week when the argument was they have nothing left to play for, let's go all in on Brighton. Yeah, they just upset the apple cart. So they believe in it, and they're gonna try, under Farke, they're gonna try. I believe they're gonna finish strongly. So it's not a foregone conclusion that West Ham are gonna easily win that game, which is why I'm not going to go for Bowen. Richarlison is just this hot and cold guy who for all you know could just get himself sent off in this game. In his game, and it's not something.
He's playing his ex club, I mean. Oh.
Yeah, he's playing Everton. That's right. So the narrative is West Ham, the top two forwards, Bowen and Richarlison have something to play for. But the number 3 transfer is DCL, who theoretically doesn't have anything to play for. So, but he's there. And the only problem now with Calvert-Lewin is again the World Cup. So where do we stand with Calvert-Lewin? He has been left out. So again, he's not just like Bowen and Foden. He's not in the World Cup. Yeah. So I do feel that he's still going to play. Yeah. There's nothing to stop him from playing. He does have to save himself World Cup. At the same time, he'll probably want to show that he deserves to go. If anyone the absent happens for whatever reason, then he comes. So he'll continue to play.
Can we talk about Forest against Bournemouth? I think that's a very interesting one because there are some players here that top transfer Anderson against one.
We should because this is what I'm getting at. So you got 2 top transfers who have Forest have nothing to play for except better league position. And Bournemouth, we see Kupi Jr. does, and Ryan being transferred in one of the top. Ryan got selected for the World Cup as well, by the way.
Yeah.
So he wants to fight to deserve not that he not only deserves to go but also get a starting spot. But Bournemouth have shown that they're not pushovers. So I don't think that the top transfers for
So both are going to try win that game and just go all out.
Who? Bournemouth?
Forest and Bournemouth.
Yeah, but okay, Forest are at home. Of course, they're gonna celebrate, staying in the Premier League for another season. But I just don't think that Bournemouth are going to be so easy. Yeah, that is worth picking up Anderson gives that. Look, they stood off City for ages last in midweek, so they're definitely capable of holding. They've got strong defense under Iraola. They've done really, really well. FPL wise, they might suck. We got Tavernier who keeps blanking, and but defense wise, they've done really well. So I wouldn't go for Forest. Not sure. I don't quite understand the rationale there. Kupi Jr. I can definitely understand. He has definitely been the standout player, and now he's taken over for penalties. Still cheap. Murah. Maybe budgets. Strikers.
4.9, 4.6.
Yeah, so definitely.
4.7 now. Okay, still cheap.
Okay, so yeah, I don't like that Forest transfers. The Kupi Jr. I don't mind. It's a cheap guy, and not that price matters at the moment. But Bournemouth have better motivation, stronger motivation. Yeah. So
If I may, yeah.
sorry, go on.
So if I may say from this list, who caught my eyes in terms of the and getting into my mind right now. I think Sobosa is someone that I can think of in terms of transfer in. Soboslai there. I like Ryan also. Okay. Possibly Gibbs White, but it depends on what ni. Then Krupi Jr. I think I'm not so keen on Osula to be frank. I just more maybe hot, but I think I favor Krupi Jr. over Osula. Then yeah, probably Bowen. But I think it depends. See, someone is not here, man. Like we mentioned offline, is Somerville, right? West Ham. He's not in this top 10. He's something that I would like to discuss. He could be a potential dark horse pick, right?
Definitely, and I wonder why he's not there, because if your top forward is going to be Bowen, I think your midfield should be Somerville. Is it purely the penalty issue, which is why you're bringing in Bowen? It could be a value issue, because midfield spots are very hard to come by. Okay, so if you look at the top transfers, the Bowen 184 and the top transfer midfield 123. So you see quite a big difference in terms of people selling their forwards comparing to people selling the midfielders. At least for the top player is concerned. So but at the same time, I just feel for this week that this whole early transfer traffic is not so relevant, because we really don't know, and we have to wait till tonight. There's all the press conference to come. In give me an example of the Palace. Herzler.
Herzler.
He had this history of telling you clearly who's gonna start or who's gonna be benched. So we don't know. We might get that here. So I feel that all this transferring is a bit premature. I wish people, I think they transferring in too soon. You should really wait to all this press conference and then move from there. Because the last thing you want to do is transfer in a player only to be told, we're gonna rest Enzo Fernandez. Let him rest for the World Cup kind of thing. For example, like that. So of course, people like Bruno F, fine. I think he's still wanting to play, wanting to chase. But even players like Cunha, all that rumor about Brazil, blah blah. And Saka transferring in, it just feels like what is the rush? They're not even playing on Saturday. They're all playing on Sunday. A lot of things might happen. Can I just say how amusing I find that Haaland is still being transferred in? It's quite amusing. I like that. So yeah. So that's the.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at projection goals and clean sheet. We can discuss more. Like Azmin mentioned, the highest interval expected goals this week is Man City with 2.48. They could easily score 2 goals against Villa, probably more. Okay, and who else on top is Liverpool, 1.97 against Brentford. They really need results. They need result, but that doesn't mean that they can't qualify for Champions League spot. Okay, but technically they are there. Then after that, I'm surprised with 1.94. Brighton against United. They need result, but I think it's going to be a tight one also against United. But they have nothing to play. Probably this could be an open game. And Casemiro will not play this match. And could Carrick play some second fiddle? Probably it has been confirmed as the United manager. He got nothing to prove, so you just can play whichever player and test out your team. Then after that, the next one probably 1.8 Arsenal's away to Crystal Palace. I want to predict, and the rest can be a tight one. In terms of clean sheet, nothing much. Everyone is equal. Not even Arsenal more than 40%, because people will just, especially at the beach, they just play their players could be a second team lineup and then enjoy the game. So West Ham 1.76, Spurs 1.72, They're playing at home. They need results, but not that big in terms of projected goals. There will be a tight game between those two. So, yeah, like you mentioned, man, City is the one to target if you want to get halls, right?
Yeah, 2.48. That's awesome. Can I just say that Brighton's interesting, 1.94. That's quite high against Manchester United. Uh, the annoying one is Liverpool, 1.97. Really, is it really that high? I don't know. It's like, but 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 coming back to your mention, because if you follow that, then I think Szoboszlai is going to be a great pick for this one. It's just, it's really good. We haven't really talked about Crystal Palace and Arsenal. Um, the reality is we've seen that even though technically Crystal Palace aren't gonna, we keep on the narrative that Crystal Palace have bigger fish to fry. They have been giving a great account of themselves in the league, for the past few weeks. So it's not so a pushover. Um, and okay, yeah, they did. There was that one loss, quite bad loss they had against, was it Brentford? Was it? I don't remember.
I recall.
Yeah, but Arsenal 1.8, I feel is a bit too high. Yeah, I don't think Arsenal are going to be that motivated to. They're not in front. They're not at home in front of their fans. They're just there. And I got to say, for Crystal Palace, I think Hazel's happy that. See, told you would that you shouldn't have to worry about us fielding a weaker team. Now it doesn't matter. So that's it for you. So I think Crystal Palace will still field not the full strength team, but it will still be a team that will give a good fight.
Burnley Wolf, man. You can see 1.4. It's like a low scoring game from this prediction. So, but that match could easily be 3-3. They have some potential. We don't touch about Fleming among the top transfer in yet in terms of and Anthony at 5.0 midfield. I think this is the players that some in the community are discussing in terms of getting Burnley players.
No, I think the goals are going to come from the Burnley side. Wolves have scored what, one goal in. I just go scrolling through. They have barely scored any goals. They've scored 2 goals since game 33, game 32. Yeah, so for 6 weeks they've scored only 2 goals. It's yeah, no. Yeah, I think Burnley will win this one, and convincingly.
Okay, so just Fleming is someone that managers are looking at. I think he's the 11 most transferred in terms of forward lah. Okay, but it's still a big differential below 1%, 0.5%. I thought he's a 90-minute man, but he has 3 game weeks back. But 80 minutes still fine, right? But I don't know, after this year, if Broja could come in or who else that can play up front, right? So I'm afraid of that potential. Okay. Well, in terms of projected goals, you go City first, then after that probably Liverpool, then where else that you can go? Fulham, Newcastle, yeah, it can be an open game because they both have nothing to play, right? Do you think Spurs, West Ham going to be a tight one? Bournemouth, Forest. Bournemouth has slightly advantage. They want to win this game for sure, but Forest can be a tough opponent up in front of their crowd. Okay, let's talk about captaincy. I know people will go Haaland. Okay, rated in terms of game 38 from Fantasy Hub members area. Haaland rated to score 7.5. Probably he's the one to go. But if you want to go different, could you go for the Arsenal players like Gabriel Saka? How about Mo Salah? I'm not sure, but he's going to play or not. Gibbs White, someone that you mentioned, has some most transfer in terms of midfield, it could be another potential. Or is there any other option? Captaincy, do we will go for Haaland? I mean,
No. Here I am talking about City going to have lots of goals, but here maybe not. I don't go for Haaland. It's just that Haaland hasn't. Okay, so he still scored goals, but he hasn't been explosive. I'm looking for explosion. So so this is the thing. But if I look at this down chart, Saka, no way am I going to captain him. Salah, if
Yeah.
I knew he was going to start, even then I'd have my worries, because even though when he's, he hasn't been explosive for quite a while now.
Okay.
But in his final game, you'll have to go on that narrative. Last game, I'm gonna go out. But then Brentford are not pushovers either. They're quite strong. Yeah, it's really hard, the captaincy pick. You go for some explosion. Gibbs White, I would avoid. Okay, just now we're talking about Bournemouth motivation. The only motivation really is to finish above Brighton. So they're not going to be able to go above Liverpool by shit, because goal difference makes it almost unlikely that they can do that. 6 goal difference of 6 goals or something. Yeah. So it's the safe pick, and one, but of course, the other one that's not mentioned here is actually Bruno Fernandes. So obviously Bruno Fernandes they don't have anything to play for except for his assist thing. But neither does Gibbs White. Forrest doesn't have much to play for. Yeah, so Gabriel doesn't have much to play for now. Saka doesn't have much to play for. Raya's already won the Golden Gloves, so Gabriel doesn't have to worry about clean sheets. I don't think he's gonna bother too much either. So I'm surprised Bruno isn't in here, because Bruno is still the more consistent FPL pick into the all-round ability, unless people are worried that he might not start this game, which I don't think so. I think he'll still want to play. He'll want to maintain his match sharpness. Maybe he gets subbed off early. I don't know. But yeah, I think I don't like any of these options for captaincy.
Yep. It's going to be tough, and you have to trust your gut. But I think probably if you can't trust anyone, you just go with Haaland. I think that's what people will do. I think that's what people do. If you're chasing, you need to do something else.
Yeah. Sure. So as when I'm not sure when Pep's conference is, but as long as there's nothing that says Haaland is at risk of being benched, then I think if you're uncertain, then Haaland is safe pick for captaincy. So yeah, in the absence of any other strong options, then just go for Haaland if you don't want to take the additional risk.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I think we go to our team selection and take some question. All right, let's go to my team. I have 2 free transfer. Thank God I have extra transfer if you want to make it some fun move instead of one move, right? 0.2 million in the bank, and currently my captain is on Haaland. So my team is Verbruggen, playing United at home, paired with Van Heck, Gabriel, O'Reilly. Okay. Then I have Saka, Enzo, Cherki, and Bruno Fernandes, and same lineup up front for same like you mean, Thiago, Haaland, and Welbeck. And Dalo, Tavernier, Hill on my bench. Strike might not be able to make it, but his has trained. Latest from Daniel Faki. But I'm not sure whether I'm going to start him or not. I think in terms of my back line, okay, I think I'm keeping to that. Verbruggen, Gabriel, Van Heck, O'Reilly. Probably I won't make any move. Azmin did favor Dalo over Verbruggen, but I trust Verbruggen at home against United. They won a result. Situation, O'Reilly not playing. That can be a possibility, right? So what will happen? I think I safely can play Hill. and play away for us. So I don't think I need to make any move into the defense. But what will happen if Gabriel or O'Reilly bench? So I guess play Hill and I hope Stretch play. That's all. Nothing else I can do.
Or Gabriel already come in as a sub, which is quite likely actually.
Right. So I don't think I want to touch on the defense in terms of transfer. Let's focus in the midfield. I think what can happen is Saka and Cherki not starting, right? Enzo possibly, I think Enzo got to start. They have to play. Bruno will start because he has something to play. So Thiago will play also. Haaland and Welbeck will play. I don't think Welbeck will be rested. Annoyingly, maybe he start out early, like 60, 70 minutes. I have option in midfield, Tavernier, right mid. So he will play. He could be 80, 90 minutes man. So Tavernier could easily come in for Chiki if I don't want to touch him. But since I have 2 free transfer, what I can do is deal with Saka and Chiki if they say that's the uncertainty is. So my thinking, I could easily get in Soboslai, who will play 90 minutes. And just punt on someone like Samovin, right? And just play. So that can be an option. Alternatively, if I don't like Thiago, I could get like Bowen in, yes, and just take out someone else like Chucky. But if I trust Saka to start, probably I just deal with Chucky and Thiago. But I don't think I will touch anyone else. Do I want to take out Welbeck? I think if I have a chance, I'll take out Welbeck. Probably can get Fleming or Krupe Jr. But I think Saka and Chucky is someone that I need to address. What do you think?
Yeah, so you said if you sell Chucky, you might buy Somerville, is that?
That can be a potential because he's 6 million guy, right?
Then
but I think Foden, like you mentioned, right? Foden can be an option, right? So Foden, if I want to get Foden, I could do that, but I need to downgrade Saka to somewhere else. Let me try who I can get.
Foden is 8 plus.
8 million. 8.0.
But it's an awful risk, because me said it tricky, but I just went and record to say that that City Villa will be a goal fest, but we're just not confident of the players, except Haaland, who I'm extremely confident, but Chucky, whom I also have, is an issue. So
okay, man. I tried my move, so I could take out Saka, Chucky and get in Foden and Szoboszlai, which is nice.
Oh,
yeah. So I have the option. Okay, thank you for that discussion.
You clearly want Szoboszlai. Okay, I'm just okay. Yeah, there was a last. Okay, the press conference. I'm just looking at the press conference. There hasn't been anything It's all about his legacy, how you feel, that kind of thing. Nothing about starting it's nothing so boring as starting lineups. So everything's about his what he did. So I don't know. Yeah. So it's all up in the air. You have to pick the narrative that suits you and then run from there.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no.
I think that's my thought. Yeah, that's my thought process for now. Let's go to your team, man. You have 1 free transfer, but you have plenty of money in the bank, 1.6 million.
Yeah. So I'm tempted to go the same route with you in terms of the defense and just leave it as it is, if and hope that the bench comes in. If Lewis Potter will come in, if necessary, Guehi is benched or Gabriel is benched, and if both is benched, hopefully Konza, who doesn't come in, because he's probably going to end up with 0 anyway. At least Gabriel or Guehi coming in, maybe he'll end up with at least a 1, and Gabriel might still come in and score a set piece goal just to signify the season of the set piece prowess. So yeah. So again, similarly to you, pretty much exactly the same issue. Cherki and Saka. The only problem is for me, the only difference is that I have only one full transfer. So it's just we don't want to take a hit to deal with it. And for me, Foden is big on my list. Not being much talked about. I just do feel I'm subscribing to the legacy Pep. And in the end, Foden was always part of Pep, but always never seemed to be able to just really consistency. But I think this will be a game where he'll be called on and he'll do well, having been benched in the past 2 games. I think this is one. But Cherki has been benched in the past 2 games as well. That's the only thing. So, but I'm going to subscribe to Foden as a player who just recently signed a new contract and not going to the World Cup. Might be angry. So yeah, give me Foden any day. And then the other person, and frankly speaking, the other person I'm looking at to bring in is Jade Anthony from Burnley. I just think that that's another potential goal fest. With the only motivation being to stay above Wolves. But I think that's big enough, and I just feel that Burnley have better firepower compared to Wolves, who want to finish above. But I think Wolves desperate to finish not in the last place is going to cause them to leave gaps, and that will suffer. And in the end, Anthony. So me, I can do Cherki to Foden just like that. It's fine. I don't need to sell Saka to fund that. So the question is, do I think that Anthony is worth the -4? So that is something that I need to look at and make that decision whether I want to do it. I'm not worried about everyone else in the attacking lineup: KDH, Bruno Fernandes, Thiago, Haaland. Well, but I'm quite confident they will all start. Yeah. So just do I want to take that hit to bringing it?
Yep. One last try. I won't do it, but you got nothing to lose. That's all I can say.
And the other thing is, and that's where, should I do what you do and go Szoboszlai instead? Because Szoboszlai, is clearly taking a lot of routes to points. Quite likely he might be the penalty taker in the absence of Salah if Salah doesn't play or doesn't start or get subbed out early. Szoboszlai is almost pretty much a 90-minute player most times.
Yeah, he's a 90-minute man, right?
So yeah, so the randomness of Burnley motivation versus I wouldn't say Liverpool are steady either. So they're against Brentford. So yeah, I just suddenly conscious of the fact that I might end up finishing off the season without a Liverpool player, which is quite for me. It's like, wow, how bad am I that Liverpool? How bad have I been with Liverpool?
Okay. I just want to point out something mean to you. I know Dubravka have been missed out the last 2 game week, but you just never know the last one, right? So just to be cautious, you just play Dubravka over Kelleher. If you're lucky, Dubravka play so good. If not, Kelleher against Liverpool is not in the end of the world.
That's a fantastic idea. Let me do that just now.
Yeah. Just in case, you just never know, right?
Yeah. Perfect. I just did that. Yeah, good. Thanks for that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's quickly look at our FPL Jedi League before take question, which is currently, like I mentioned, 1, 2, 3, go. Nama is at the top spot right now. His squad beat last week, 79 points. And I just want to point out, he has 3 Leeds United players. Dalo 11 points, Visual 8 points, and DCL 7 points. So well done to him. I think that is the backbone of his team. He has Gabriel, he has Trossard. I believe he transferred in Trossard, to take advantage of Burnley game, but he blanked. But he captured the right player, which is Saka, 20 points. Other than that, standard O'Reilly, standard Cherki, but he has DCL. Joe Pedro, has him, but he missed out, and Gross come in for 3 points. I'll take 3 points over 0 points anytime. So with 2, 3, 2, 7 points and around 22 points over Voodoo FC at second place. He are in the running to win our league, man. Your comment.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
I don't know how to say it, but it looks as though he's locked up the first phase.
Yep, I think he's locked up. He's almost
Yeah,
unless a disastrous thing happened at the last game week.
Unless there's some random, suddenly triple
Yeah.
captaincy chip and holding, but on the other side, it's just too far off. I think, yeah, he has the the crazy, because he played his Leeds players.
Yes.
It's crazy. So he had that foresight to go for the Leeds play and benched his Brighton defense, even Van Heck as well as
I think his decision is a logical one because he have DCL, Bijol, and Dalo at home. So you play that. If he has Welbeck, he will go with what I'm doing last week.
No, but he still played Gross.
Gross is on the bench because João Pedro didn't make it.
He actually got benched all of. Oh, I see. So Pedro came in. Pedro didn't play. Okay. Wow, fascinating. Full trust in the.
Yeah. So he got it right.
Yeah. Gosh, wow. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up for him.
Yeah.
So let's just see. So he's got 6. He's got 3 Arsenal and 3 City players. All, assuming Haaland's not at risk, I feel Cherki and O'Reilly are both at risk. Trossard's at risk because he got so much. Martinelli, who hasn't, might actually start. Saka definitely at risk. Madueke is just there, not an issue. So I just wonder what he's going to do. Yeah.
How many transfer do he has?
Presumably he will still play he will play all his. I mean, of course, he needs to decide between the Brighton goalkeeper and the Leeds goalkeeper, but presumably he will play both his Brighton and goalkeeper. So I don't know. It's quite interesting. I'm curious to see what he does for this final one and who he captains. I think he will probably captain Bruno Fernandes. But
okay. Sekejap. I'm looking at his team 9-7. He has. Oh my god.
What? He has like 4 transfers.
Sekejap. 973 78 973 78 dah sekejap 973 78 dia punya team ID. Okay, 1 2 3 go tak ada kat sini kan?
Checking kat
He has 1 transfer only, man. He has only 1 transfer, but he has 1.4 million in the bank.
Yeah.
Yep. He has money to do anything.
Can do anything just for the.
Yeah. You play Gross. He could play the Leeds United against West Ham if he trusts Leeds United player.
I'm just looking at the second place team to see whether there's enough differences for them to mount.
Voodoo FC, okay.
But there isn't any. And there's nothing significant. Vias, Verberger, Gabriel, O'Reilly, Saka, Cherki, Gross.
Almost identical.
Gross, Fernandes, Haaland, Calvert-Lewin, Dalo, Pedro, Van Heck.
It's sama macam sebiji, right? He has KDH.
So yeah, no chance of catching. Sorry, number 2. It's just too similar. He captained Gabriel, by the way, midweek. So,
wow. Okay, he wants to go differential, but he doesn't pay off.
But yeah,
Gabriel Saliba double defense. I'm not sure whether Saliba gonna play this KB, right? He could play and get that clean sheet, but I don't think clean sheet on the cards against Palace at home, right? KDH probably go big against Spurs. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. KDH will go big against Spurs, but just not enough to overhaul the points here. Yes. Come on, KDH. I can't. I just want to
Okay. Dia dah cakap, man. My plan is bring in Bowen. Whoa. And captain, I want to protect my rank. Yes, I think that's the right thing to do. Yep.
I don't know if you should captain Ryan because he just came up. I mean, he hasn't really hauled much. Osula is definitely better. So if you want to
or maybe Captain Ryan or Osula, if you want to bring. You already have one transfer. You need to make a choice.
Osula. Yeah. I mean, we bring in Osula, but captain him, I don't know. I'm not.
He wants to. Okay, we'll see whether he has the.
Just the driving force, because the thing with the interest with Osula is that is also, of course, Fulham are on the beach, but Anderson is still suspended. Still is. So he's so big for the Fulham defense. So yeah, I can see if Fulham decide go on beach to make it even worse. Yeah. So yeah, Osula.
Anyway, good luck to you. Nama, you
as high
has a chance to win our league. Okay, that's for sure. And if you want to go a better rank and go greedy, well, you are in the Azmin camp for sure. You just try your luck, but if you want safety, like myself, Captain Halian. All right. Let's take some question, and then we wrap up. Anthony or Hazelwood? Wow, Anthony Hazelwood, yeah. My feeling, I go Anthony. Yes, an open game can move. Fleming or Welbeck? We have Welbeck, mate. But I want to point out here, I think I'll go Fleming.
Yep, Fleming. If I had to choose, I go Fleming.
Yep. Okay. Saka bench, right? I don't know. Last year he did that.
Right. Right. Absolutely. It's just the case. He will probably still come on so that he can get some run out. And we don't know he'll do anything there, but yes, he will be benched. Yeah.
Teti Pan, Castellanos, West Ham United. He can be a differential, but he's not a 90-minute man. That's all. But he's a Pan.
Oh, that reminds me of probably not. But it does remind me of someone who I think could be great. Is Mavropanos, the West Ham defender.
Yeah, Mavropanos, yes, in defense. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, they need to keep that clean sheet against Leeds. So if you subscribe to that thing that West Ham will go all out, and Mavropanos is going to be at the heart of it. So yeah. In fact, if you ask me to choose between Bowen and Mavropanos, I'll go for Mavropanos.
That's a big call, man. All right.
Huge.
Last but not least, Richarlison or Bowen. My narrative this week, you might not agree with me. I think West Ham gonna survive. They got 3 points. All 3 points get Leeds United, and then Spurs lose at home against Everton.
So that means Bowen lah. Is that what the conclusion?
Yep.
I'll go for Bowen on the basis that he's just more responsible than Richarlison.
Alright.
If both score goals this weekend, Richarlison will end up less by 1 point because he's gonna run to the crowd and open his shirt. So on that basis, so Bowen for me. Yeah.
All right, good stuff, man. We come to the end of the stream. The last game week 38. What will be your final say?
So I cautioned at the start in some mid-stream saying that it's going to be easy for a lot of people to just it's the last game, I'm just going to all out, but temper yourselves and just if you really felt that don't make your transfers, then wait a bit. Of course, read all your press conferences. Yeah, and if you really feel like you're just going to start making it after a hit, stop. Take a break first, come back again, maybe 8 hours later, and then just rationalize it. You can take hits, but not just to go out with a bang by getting even worse points by negative, purely on the result of the hits. So other than that, good luck. It's been great. I haven't had one of the best seasons compared to Hafiz. Hafiz has an excellent season, so congratulations, Hafiz. I just wanted to see if I can try to drag my way back into that top 1 million. If I do, then I'll be okay. So good luck, everyone.
Right. Good luck, everyone. My last word for this stream. This will be the final one for this game week, season 25-26. We did plan like a watch along game week 38, but it's cuti sekolah time. I also going off there, and Azmin mentioned he also would not be available. So this will be our last stream in terms of FPL content. Okay. But we just never know if we want to pop out and just review the season, and we shall see whether we have that time. But until then, may the force be with you for the last time this game week 38. Whichever your guts go, you need to trust your guts and just do it. Have fun for the last time for FPL, and try improve your rank for sure. And until then, until we meet again, take care everyone, and bye bye.
Is